very well. And we want to say thank you once again. Once again, I want to appreciate every one of us. I can see that one of our great royal king is already joining us. We have about 5 of them that will be joining us this morning for this conference. HRM, King Valetine Y.Y.C.I Akpabio. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. I also have my coach, Coach MJ Tolan. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. My professor, Professor Ozage Success, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. And many more. Oh my God, ma'am from USA, Ambassador Jenny Rapstar, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. Professor Dr. Ambassador Gafa Tyler Ola, thank you so much for joining us today. Halaji Rahama Onike, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you. I wish I could know the name of person using Galaxy A12. But thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. If I haven't mentioned your name, I'm sure we are going to do that as we go on. But your time is so worthy, and your time is expensive. And for you to spend that time with us this morning, we do not take it for granted. So thank you all, my great leaders, for joining us today. Ambassador Stephen Temitope, thank you so much. Now we need to move on quickly. I would like to quickly call, if I'm permitted by my moderators, am I permitted to quickly call on one of our royal king? You know how busy they are in their palace, so that we can release him. Is it possible, ma'am, to
Yes,
okay,
you can, Queen.
Okay. Now I want to call on His Royal Majesty Valetine Y.Y.C.I Akpati. Please share with us your wealth of wisdom. Can you mute yourself, sir? We can't hear you. Can you unmute? We can't hear you, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, greetings. Yes, greetings and blessings to everybody. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes,
yes.
So,
yes, what we are discussing today about love and relationships, leaderships, and all that, right?
Yes, sir.
I said we are talking about relationship and all that, love,
yes,
and the leadership.
Yes, please.
Well, first, I want to all of you for attending this Zoom conference. I bless all of you. Let love stream forth into your lives, in our lives, because the only thing we need in this world right now is love. There are kinds of love. You understand? The love we have for our spouses, the love for our children, then the love for our nation. You know, so love is so much. But what kind of love do we need right now? This love, the highest. There's one thing I watched the other day. I watched a film. They called it The Passion of the Christ. If you all know it, I believe many of you know it, The Passion of Christ. You know, it was, yeah. I shed tears that day.
Yes.
He was being flogged. He was flogged by these people. They flogged him. They continued to flog him. Wow. I was even feeling these pains, even watching it. And he was supposed to have been angry. He has the power to destroy these people with just one finger. But he continued enduring. And I heard the voice of God saying, are you going to bear all this pain for these people? Are they worthy for you to feel all this pain? And he said, no, he should, with so much love. He did not feel anything. And at the end of the day, when I finished watching the film, then I started realizing, I said, are we really free to behave like this? not to even somebody like Jesus, but for each other. Your brothers, your sisters, you can do this. No, 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 no. Then when I woke, I just stood up. I went out. I said, God, it's not nice for the people to behave like this. They did this to you, who is the image of God in the world. You know, it's not nice. People need to understand that the only way to God is to love, to forgive. You know, so what we are facing now in this world right now is that in our homes, as leaders, why? I don't understand. Excuse me. I'm just trying to flow with what is going on in spirit now. We have leaders, we have presidents, we have politicians, we have kings, we have this and that. What is our duties? What are our duties? What are our duties? Your people are suffering. You have enough in your room. You have millions of dollars. You have so much money. You have everything. Yet, your people are suffering. Some of them, in the village I am here, there are so many people here, they don't have food for days. And I am happy. And I'm able to sleep comfortably on my bed. What are the duties of a leader? You are the father of a family. Your children are there. Can you be happy when your children do not eat every morning? Is it possible that your child has not had food this morning? Then you, the father of that family, you can now go outside, eat, and your children are hungry. It's not possible. So what exactly are these politicians looking for when they go for votes? Then at the end of the day, these politicians, they have a lot of cars, everything, they have it. Yeah, but we, the people that voted you in, we are not happy today. This is not a political meeting, but we're talking about love. And as a leader, you can sacrifice your love. Look at the soldiers dying on the battlefield because of their country, because of their people. The children, the young people, they die every day. The only thing we are missing in this world is love. Okay, so what we need to do, those of us that are here today, we have our own problems. We have our changes, our temptations that are happening today. Many of us here are facing problems in our homes. We are having, a lot of things are happening. So what are we going to do? They say Jesus is coming back. What do we mean by Jesus is coming back? You are talking about the physical aspect of Jesus or the spiritual aspect of Jesus? We are talking about the loving aspect of Jesus, the loving aspect of God, the loving aspects in our future, in today. Is it so that the humankind and mankind can come together to become images of love again? But like I said, I hope all of us know that we are all bundles of love. Are we? Are we bundles of love?
Yes.
Can somebody answer me? Are we bundles of love energy?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Thank you. So remember, like you see our Queen Elizabeth. In the picture I'm seeing at the back, she's smiling there, full of life, smiling, happy. And that is because she is happy and she wants everybody to be happy. Because the only way you can be happy is to help make others happy. And this mission Queen Elizabeth Lucas is trying to do is to express love to mankind, to bring mankind back to love in her own way by talking about it. And that is what we are doing today. If that love is not there, I will not be here today because I am so concerned about what is happening in our nation, in our world. So, but all of us that are here today, I think the best thing is let us love. Can we start loving again? No matter what our religion is, whether we are Muslims, we are Christians, we are this and that, can we start loving?
Yes.
I am here in my palace. I'm standing up on my throne now. I know some of you can see me. I've stood up. So now, when I come outside, I see nature. There's a lot of nature here in my palace. And this nature, these natural things, this beautiful nature you see around here. There's some flowers, there's some trees over here, everything is here. But now, what gave life to these natural forms? That is love. These natural forms, these flowers, these trees, these birds, everything, it's love. Without it is what they call continuous love making. So why don't we be like these simple natural life forms? All they know is just to love, to live together harmoniously. And then we that are supposed to be the images of God, we are destroying each other. We are destroying ourselves. This is not right. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much because if I continue and continue in my own system, I'll just continue talking. You
Thank you
understand?
so
But what
much,
I'm
sir.
just trying to say is that I love you all. I love you. I love everybody. I love you, Elizabeth Lucas. You are the
Thank you.
royal ambassador at large.
Thank
That,
you so
that is
much,
the
sir.
ambassador of love.
Mm.
So I want to thank you for what you are doing. I want to love everybody and still appeal that, please, the motto of the Royal Transnational Priesthood Federation is that we live to love and we love to live. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You've started very well. And yes, we need to love.
Thank you.
Because if we are talking about
His Royal
relationship,
Highness.
thank you so much, sir. If we are
Thank you.
talking about love, if we are talking about relationship, we are also talking about love, because love is the principle. And for us to exhibit and demonstrate the love, we have to relate with others. And that is why love and relationship are very important. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't really even know what love is all about, or even relationship. And sometimes what we don't know, we abuse. And that is why we keep on learning and we keep on teaching, we keep on sharing our wealth of knowledge to let people know that, yes, we need to love. You need to love yourself, love your God Almighty, and also love your neighbor. And if you don't love yourself, what do you want to give to the world? So when you when you love yourself, when you take care of yourself, when you develop yourself, when you add more value to yourself, then you will understand others and you can love them and tolerate them and also share your love to the world. So thank you so much, our wonderful Royal Majesty, for sharing your thoughts with us today. I want to hand over to Dr. Diana, please.
Thank you so much, King. Thank you so much, the Royal King, for your great message. So now let me call our Professor Mario for his opening speech. Welcome, Professor Mario. Please enlighten us.
Is he here? Because I can see him joining, but it looks like he has problem with his. Okay, we will move on because we don't want to waste your time. Before I hand over to you, Dr. Ambassador Gafatafia Ola is having challenges with electricity at the moment, so he wanted to speak so that doesn't make him to miss out from this conference. So permit me, please, to welcome Dr. Ambassador Talia Ola, the president and founder of Vogue Media and Integrity Academic from Nigeria. Please, the floor is yours quickly.
Welcome.
Dr. Ambassador Gafa Talia Ola. We are calling you. I hope the electricity hasn't disturbed you. Okay. Can you hear us at all? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself. We can't hear you at all. There's a button you need to click quickly. Please, let's do this quickly. We have a lot of our great leaders. We can't hear you, so we have to come back to you. We still can't hear you, sir. I know you are speaking, but we can't hear you here, so you need to click your button. You need to unmute yourself. Okay, we need to move on because we can't hear you.
Okay, we need to move on because we can't.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's trying to do it, but Let's wait for 2 seconds, please.
Let's wait for 2 seconds, please.
Okay. All right. I think we need to move on. So let's call the...
All right. So let's call the...
Her Royal Majesty Valentine, can you please unmute the microphone because there is an echoing.
Please unmute the microphone because it's echoing.
Yeah, because there is an echoing from your
Yes,
device.
I've done it. I've done it.
Okay.
All right. Can we call the next person on your list, please?
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Oh,
Hello?
yes. Okay, yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry
thank you
for
very much. Sorry.
yes. Okay.
It's the poor networking I'm trying to adjust, ma.
That's fine.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
Good morning from Nigeria. First and foremost, for the first time in the history of my media integrity organization, and as well as our Nigeria Integrity Ambassador campaigner, I want to first of all give a commendation to Her High Excellency, Professor Dr. Elizabeth Lucas, for what you have done for all humanity. Just like the last speaker, His Royal Majesty, His Royal Highness that just spoke some minutes ago, he has said a lot. I want to commend your efforts in uniting the world leaders together, and together we can stand by the grace of God. God Almighty will continue to be with you. Today, well, I will just have just few points to clarify and also to present. Because of my battery, because of the electricity, all my power bank are low. When we talk of leadership and transformation, from my own topic, the mastermind of good leadership thought, I can only say can only come through integrity and ethics. When our leaders have an integrity through their conscience or have an ethics, either you are a Christian or Muslim, when we talk of ethics, we are talking of holiness through the biblical, either Christian or Muslim. Lack of ethics is what is worrying some of our leaders seriously, and lack of ethics is what is worrying some of our leadership around the world, most especially in Africa. The only way we can transform leadership is through integrity. You know, when we talk of integrity, we can integrate the whole world. And integrity and ethics is a core value for every humanity and for every individual that have conscience. Integrity is very important in human value. Just like Your Excellency, Professor Elizabeth Lucas, you are a woman of integrity with a lot of values, which I so cherish and appreciate. And I believe with your continuity of this leadership thought for all Africa and the whole world, I know the world will come into a one place and become an integrity people, and for our future youth generation to imbibe and the next coming generation. I really want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate your time for bringing me to this World Leadership Transformation Conference around the globe. And I want to commend you. And from my own side, we need to charge our leader to reawaken, to be focused, to have the fear of God. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Just like a proverb that says, charity begins at home. Integrity and ethics is part of moral value for every leadership role in any discipline, in any career that we want to build all around the world. Be private sector or government setting in our polity for the world to be in peace. On this note, I want to really appreciate you. And I want to thank God for the first time in my life. I'm here to participate, if not because of my low battery. I've already even prepared a very long speech, like 10 minutes. But I thank God I was able to meet it in order to beat the deadline. I pray that the Almighty God will give our leaders to reason with your efforts, with your transforming the whole world, both young and old. With years to come, we can make it possible. We can be a good leaders with determination, dedication, in order to have a good delivery. Just like you have 3DD of a proverb. Thank you very much. And I want to salute the whole house. and for other speakers who have spoken. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria. God bless our good leaders. And God bless Elizabeth Lucas. And God bless the whole world with integrity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ambassador Gafatalia Ola from Nigeria. Thank you. We really appreciate your time. I'm glad that you were able to deliver your message this morning, because this electricity can cut off at any time, but thank God that we're able to listen to you and to learn from your wisdom. Thank you. And keep up the good work, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
yes,
now over to Dr. Ediana.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ambassador Gafar, for sharing your thoughts. Now, please let me call our next speakers, Professor Akpabio. Is he here?
Yes, Reverend Professor, yes.
Please welcome Professor Akpabio. The stage is yours. Please unmute yourself, sir.
You are still muted, Akpabio.
We cannot hear you.
You are still muted, Professor Akpabio.
I think he's trying to do it.
Yeah,
he's trying. Professor Khairuddin.
Hey, selamat sore, Bu.
Good morning. Okay, yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Professor
Khairuddin.
Okay, over to you, sir, Reverend Professor Aniofiok Akpabio.
All yours.
Thank you very much. I say welcome to all of you for this special moment of sharpening lives. I want to congratulate our Queen, congratulate every one of us for the good work we are doing. I say God bless you all in Jesus' name. Looking at what we are having in hand, I will look at the aspect of mindset or diplomatic personality. Because when we look at personality and relationship, we've talked about relationship for too long, and I feel there is a need for us to really emphasize the issue of personality. Most of the time, we project what we are not, and some people emphasize, well, when they turn the other way, they can't see those life coming the way it should be. And so that's where I feel sympathy and I feel burdened to look at the issue of personality. Having an understanding that when we talk about mindset, we are talking about an established set of attitude held by somebody. What we have in our mind, what we have in our thoughts, and what we feel that we are doing. And when that is established in us, it molds us in a way that we decide to live, which sometimes may not be acceptable to others. By the mere fact of the fact that we have a mindset, then we want to look at the aspect of diplomatic personality. What kind of personality are we projecting today so that we can bring the world to God and also to be a help to one another? We remember the scripture made a statement, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he, which means from our heart is the decision of what we are. Having in mind that a diplomat is one who is able to carefully say and do things without offending people. A carefully saying or doing a thing without offending people as a diplomatic person. Therefore, there must be number one on the aspect of personality, sensitivity. Every diplomat that is not sensitive and sensible will not actually attract the interest and the people that is dealing with. Because human beings, they are terrible and difficult. But when we are sensitive and sensible, there are many times you go to help a person and tell them what is to be done. He may look at it the other way. But one thing is sure, that when we are sensitive, the personality of sensitivity and sensibility will actually help us to know how to deal with people, how to work with people, and how to be sure that we have brought out what we have in mind. There are some people who may not understand us. The way you are talking with them, they feel it is the other way. So I really encourage that every diplomat on the aspect of personality should look at the issue of being sensible and sensitive. Looking into that, there must be also an aspect of that such a person who is very direct and tactful. We come to the personality of being direct. We know there is a lot of wayo these days. People are saying one thing and living the other way, even when we know what we are doing, because as a diplomat, we must be careful enough to be sure we don't offend people because we are leading them to where they ought to be. So there must be that aspect of tactfulness, ability to play along, but knowing your targets. When we are able to play along, but know our target and hit our target, we'll see that we'll achieve the purpose of what we are desiring in our hearts and in our mind. That does not talk about subtlety, because most of the time people are very subtle, very wild, trickish, and they want to get what they want for their own personal interest. But all what we can do when we look at this aspect of being direct, let's be sure we can call a spade, but in a word that is going to make well. And that is the issue of now being a good communicator, the personality of communicating. What do we have to say? How do we say it? With what mood are we talking? Because you can have a good word, but the way you talk and the action you take may not be what it should be. I look at also the personality of being smooth. We can talk sometimes about the issue of being smooth or imaginative, because whatever we do, it begins from the imagination. Even God has a recognition for imagination in Genesis chapter 11. He said, "This what these people begin to do, nobody will stop them from what they have imagined." So there must be that aspect of smooth imaginative activity as we want to lead people, our young people, our old people, our friends. We're imaginative. Think beyond what you see. Let's act beyond where they are so we can be able to lead them beyond the level that they are. I believe the greatest thing a diplomat, a person, just as all of us are, to take people move above the level they are to another realm and another level. And when somebody realizes that you've taken him beyond where he had been, he will appreciate and he will look at that. The other aspect is ability to think right. There must be that aspect of the personality of thinking right, being thoughtful, thinking ahead, and being right in what we are doing. There are many times some people may have certain ideas, and when we want to talk to them and play the role as a diplomat, as ambassadors, as envoy, or whatever name we can call ourselves, we go to break their boundary and then bring other things that get them confused. I look at a person, if we want to help people, we don't leave them in their confusion, but we are able to take them out of confusion to make them live well and do well. So when we look at this personality, we come to see that we owe a duty to prepare ourselves first. The skill must be there, communicative skill, thinking skill, activities of what we can do to make sure we lay something in the minds of people, because all this thing is mental attitude. And when people are being led to know what they know and they should know, then it will be. Then I look at the issue of a personality of positivity. Oftentimes, what we see in the world is, I cannot do it. It may not work. It is not working. Others have failed. But if we are positive in our way, positive in our words, encouraging the people, it can work. Yes, you can. And that is where we are. We encourage them with positive words. I'm thinking that they will be embracing what we are looking at and what we are saying. The positive thinking mindset. A positive person is a person that can actually encourage everyone. Like all of us who are here, we can make it. No matter what is happening, no matter the situation of life, no matter the hardness of the world, we can actually encourage. Positive statement, positive action, positive encouragement, that can be a good one. And I look at the other aspect of courageous aspects. That aspect of being courageous yourself. You know, when you have the courage and you can have the courage to present a word, present an idea, it could be well. So I'm looking at it, since it is an introductory perspective, we will go into more of it, that we look at our personality. And let's tell our young ones, your personality matter. What you present yourself to the people is what they take you. If we package ourselves well and are what we ought to be, we'll see that we will be accepted. So I encourage all of us, as we speak today and as we move on in this program for this 1 month, let's speak positive, let's be courageous, let's encourage everyone, and we'll see that we'll build a better world and the people will accept us. Most of all, this critical thing of having an answer to what we are talking about, so that our people will see us as instrument that could be accepted. We all incline to Christ. We all believe in our Savior because he has answer to every situation, answer to every word. He said with him, all things are possible. So if we can play that role and make sure we become an answer to people's question, to people's problem, it will be a good thing for us. So I encourage us as we go on, let's have the positive mindset of the aspect of using better personality lifestyle, living the life that others can imitate, living the life that others can see. Somebody say, if you cannot hear me well, look at me, will see what I'm doing. So when they can see the radiance of our life in us and see what we are talking, our words and our action combined together will make a better thing for them. And I believe we can do this, and we'll do it as far as God is helping us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Professor Akpabio Papa, for sharing with us and enlightening us more on this topic of personality. It's very important that we treat that topic widely. And that is why I'm expecting all our great leaders on this platform to share with us their wisdom, their knowledge on this particular topic, because it's very important in relationship. So once again, Reverend Prof, thank you so much. Over to Dr. Ediana.
Thank you so much, Reverend Prof. Akpabio, for sharing his great thoughts. So now, let's move a little bit far to USA. I think it's early morning in there. Let's welcome Dr. Penny from USA to share her great thoughts. Good morning, Dr. Penny. Please enlighten us.
Good morning. I was afraid to go to bed because I thought if I went to sleep I wouldn't wake up in time. So I've been up all day and all night.
Thank you so much for that sacrifice. We really appreciate that.
I want to focus on civility. I think that, well, first of all, I'm a female chaplain, and I have Zooms that I do with women who have been through difficulties in their life, no matter what it is, but they've come through victorious. And the whole idea behind those Zooms is to create a platform for other women to hear that they're not alone in the world, that they can go through things and be successful, and the success is because of God. We all know that, and I think that being a civility female chaplain, that word means treating others the way you want to be treated. And it's the golden rule. If you want people to treat you good and treat you nice, you treat them that same way. And this is something that I think should be taught in schools, that little kids would learn that from a young age, to treat others the way they want to be treated, and maybe the bullying would stop, you know? And another thing is having a place where somebody can come and share without being interrupted. That's civility. Being able to listen and not blurt out your information, but listen to the full extent that you're hearing what that person's saying, because what they have to say is important to them and it should be important to us. And so I think that that's another part of civility that needs to be used in our lifestyle everywhere. And then I also, my husband and I started a rescue mission over 20 years ago for the poor, the homeless, drug addicts, you know, families, whatever. And it's something that it's a place where we let them know that we care, and we need to let people know that we do care and that we love them. So love people and not their sin. And I'll stop there.
I really appreciate it, Dr. Penny. It was really, it's really out of the world and quite breathtaking ideas. But yes, absolutely aligned with you. Why? Because we complete our communications when we complete our response. So you're amazing, and yes,
thank you.
Love it. Yes, and love is even it's not noble word, because we've been believing for the last 1 century like love is a verb, but now we started to believe that we gotta be loved, because when we use verb, then we become chooser, then we start choosing, and hate is complete, and love has a multiple level of significance and metrics. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here with us. You really mesmerized us, and that was really out of the world. Really appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you.
You are really transcending soul. So we have the greatest speaker. So I would love to call upon, like over here is Father Oluwafemi Orilua, Professor. Yes. So we could invite you here. Like, the stage is yours. If you can listen, please. Father Oluwafemi.
Thank you, Professor Mike.
Appreciate
I'm happy to
stage is yours.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm happy to be here with us today. In a special way, I want to thank Dr. Professor Lucas for bringing me into the platform once again. Really, I used to be with us last year, and I'm happy that once again I'm here. I work in United Kingdom as a school chaplain, though I came down here for my sabbatical leave. And at the same time, I have an outreach in Nigeria which has to do with supporting talent in the young people. Part of what we still do today with a magazine, Treasures Unveiled, which talk about the raw talent that we have discovered. It has to do with the development which we are talking about today. So in a special way, when we talk about mindset for diplomatic personality and relationship, I think Reverend Professor Akpabio has said a lot on what I want to say, but in a special way, I will have to bring it down to my own personal experience as a person. Diplomatic personality has to do with a mindset that thrives on empathy, open-mindedness, and tactful communication, just as he said. But I'm going to come down to the side of open-mindedness. This has to do with about being sensitive to ideas, beliefs, and cultures of people. When we want to deal with people, we need to look into their own life. We don't talk about ourselves alone, because we believe that as human beings, we have our fundamental human rights. we have the right to freedom. We have the freedom of speech. We have the freedom of religion. We have freedom of association, freedom and right to life. We have that. So if we know that our own right ends, that is where that of other people start. Then we tend to respect their own space. Coming down to recognize others, I remember one of the experiences I had in my school where I work as a chaplain here in Scotland. There was a day I went to one of the classes and I saw, the interaction between the teacher and the student. The moment I came into the class, one of the students said, "Father, come and sit down with me here." So because of his interest in me, I sat down beside him and I looked at his notebook. I saw his name there. So when it was time to leave the classroom, I called his name. I said, "Huma, take care." The boy was so shocked. "So, Father, you know my name?" I said, "Yes, I know your name." So the rest of the students, they began to call their names. "Father, my name is Innocent. My name is this. My name is that." So I was so, it was so interesting that at times you may not know that a little gesture of recognition of the other person plays a lot of role in their life. So when we want to come as a person, we want to project ourselves alone. It's all about me. This is me. You have to respect my idea. You have to do this. You have to do that. Automatically, we kill relationship. So if we must be diplomatic, if we must really strengthen and build relationship, we have to recognize that fact. Coming to Nigeria, for example, if you come to the northern part of Nigeria, you will realize that the Islamic group, they have no tolerance for those who are Christians. But if you come to the western part, you realize that both the Christians and the Muslims, they live together and they share their lives together. Because what they see humanity in the other person. Is not about the difference. What we have is varieties, it's not differences. So a diplomatic personality have to recognize that fact, that every one of us, we have the image of God in ourselves. And so we have to respect that image when we see people either from our own extraction or people from other extractions. So that is what I will say so that I won't overstep my time. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing briefly but powerful. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Reverend Oluwafemi. We appreciate your time and also your blessings this morning. Thank you so much. I will love you to quickly call, if it's possible, Dr. Edina. I know the list I gave you, this is not in there, but our Honorable Ross Swine, if I'm correct, will be leaving us soon. No, sorry, Dr. Luis Candoso. Are you still here, sir? Because you are about to go for a meeting. We have you on the list, but we have to jump the list. So can I quickly call on Dr. Luis Candoso to share with us quickly? Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, my dear friends, Queen Dr. Elizabeth. It's a great pleasure and a great honor to be here today, esteemed colleagues and esteemed friends. So allow me to share a presentation, if I may.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, my dear friends, esteemed colleagues, I would like to highlight just some key ideas regarding the importance of communication nowadays in our personal lives, in our relationships, and of course, in our working places. We all understand the need to use communication in the most direct, objective, and necessary way to create connections, namely when we try to deliver a message that sometimes is misunderstood. So let us try to begin to establish here a frontier regarding information and communication. And indeed, information is not as the same type of technique that we use in communication, because sometimes they are often used interchangeably. So, but these are different things. So information, according to Sidney J. Harris, is given out and communication is getting through. So this means that sometimes we're trying to communicate that we are only sharing information. We are not creating a community. We are not creating an opportunity to get together. So communication is indeed the creation of a community, the establishment of a commitment, establishment of relationship regarding information. So communication works for those who work at it. So this means that communication is also a skill that we have to develop. Communication is something that we have to understand, we have to analyze, we have to create opportunities, we have to understand the challenges, and we have to understand the risks. So of course, we all know what communication is, and it is indeed a process. And when we think about all the contexts that surround the sender and the receiver, we can fully understand how sometimes we don't have a correct interpretation or have a misunderstanding regarding the message. So we have a lot of things that we have to analyze when we think about how the information is shared, what are the means, what are the tools, what are the techniques we are using to share that information. Otherwise, we truly won't have communication. So this is why the elements of the communication process must be always in our line of thoughts, because we have so many things that can affect the sender and the receiver. And if we don't have feedback, for example, we don't have the possibility to establish a double communication routine. Sometimes we only get one level routine of communication from the sender to the receiver. If we don't get the opposite, then sometimes, again, we get some misunderstandings. And of course, the process of encoding information is usually affected by a lot of noise from the context of the sender, from the context of the receiver. So this is why George Bernard Shaw tells us that the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. And sometimes we get this as an illusion. So types of communication, of course, based on communication channel and based on style and purpose, allow us to determine what type of communication I can choose, I may choose. Either it is nonverbal or verbal, formal or informal, but each single type of communication establishes a set of rules, establishes a set of skills that we have to enhance and deliver. So communication is all about what and where and when and who and why and how we establish the connection with our receiver. And when we think about everything that is being said, sometimes we forget everything that is not being said, because 93% of communication is nonverbal. So this means that we have to increase and enhance our skills regarding effective communication. Namely, when I think about coherence, conciseness, courtesy, correctness, clarity, concreteness, and confidence, of course. And these are some of the top communication skills that are so important nowadays, not just for our students, but of course for us all, teachers, researchers, and most of all, we are trying to connect with our receiver. So active listening, communication methods we are using, friendliness, confidence, sharing feedback, volume and clarity, empathy, respect, and responsiveness are so important. And this is why this connects with effective communication skills. I'm not going to highlight all this, of course, but allow me just to share that trust is one of the most important things and one of the most important values that we have to establish when we need to create communication. So communication is a skill that you can learn. It's like riding a bicycle or typing. And if you're willing to work at it, you can rapidly improve the quality of every part of your life, according to Brian Tracy. And nowadays, communication is, of course, vital when you're thinking about the labor market. So communication skills are consistently being one of the top skills employers are looking for. And communication, at least more than 50% of the employers are looking for future employees who master different techniques regarding communication. So good communication, my dear friends, is indeed the bridge between confusion and clarity. And this means that when we are analyzing how we can create effective and a correct level of communication, again, it's not just sharing information. It's about creating a community. It's about engaging with one another. It's about receiving and giving the opportunity to have feedback. Is indeed the opportunity to have through words to gestures with our line of eyes, how the way we speak, the tone of our voice, everything is important because everything is shared. And when we are sharing, we are communicating. So thank you, my dear friends. It was indeed a great pleasure to be here with you all. I'm sure we'll be having a lot of interesting presentations today regarding how we can create this new mindset, new framework regarding interpersonal skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Luis Cardoso from Portugal. We really appreciate your presentation, and we've learned a lot from that presentation this morning, especially communication. We cannot talk about relationship and not talk about communication, and we cannot talk about diplomatic personality without communication and without relationship. So I really appreciate the presentation this morning. Thank you so much, my friend, like you always say.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. And see you soon. See you soon, my dear friends.
Okay, before I hand over to our wonderful moderators, can I also quickly appreciate all our leaders on the platform? Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. Ambassador Kale Timileyi, thank you so much. Professor Nada, Ambassador Elena from Georgia, thank you so much. Miriam, thank you so much for joining us. Katrina, thank you for joining us. Professor Osage, thank you for joining us. Professor Karudin, well done for the great job you're doing. Thank you so much, Dr. Mike Litma, thank you so much. Thank you so much. My mentor, Professor Dr. TPS, thank you for sitting down patiently and relaxing, watching us. Alaji Rahama Onike, thank you so much for joining us. My sister, Ambassador Temitope Odetunde, thank you so much for joining us. Ma'am from USA, Madam, Jenny Rapsa, thank you so much for joining us. Yes, we have so many. My sister from Zimbabwe, thank you so much. Professor Patricia, Excellency, thank you so much. Excellency, Royal Majesty, Dr. King, Leicester Monarch from South Africa, sir. Thank you so much. We respect you a lot, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much, sir. We thank you all for joining Ambassador Dr. Anogu. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Turomade, thank you for joining us. We are still going to be calling all our Professor Kafita. Please get ready. Thank you for joining us. Okay, hand over now to who is calling? I think it's yes. You're gonna be calling Professor Success, I guess. Dr. Mike.
I really appreciate it, and it was really breathtaking and quite amazing presentation by Dr. Lois. Yes, communication is 92% communication is through body. So we really need to learn how to use body. Leaders, they really reflect with a different kind of body language. So yes, we are so ready to invite our next speaker is Professor Osagie, O-S-A-G-I-E. Professor Osagie, yes.
Professor Osagie, I saw him just now. Please bear with us. I think sometimes it might be the connectivity. I saw him just now. Okay, here we are. Let me align him. Yes.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we are joining from.
Please stage it.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Mike. I want to appreciate you and all the moderators, and most importantly, appreciate our dear professor, the convener of this Transformational Leadership Conference, our able Professor Queen Elizabeth. Thank you, ma'am, for what you are doing for humanity. And I want you to know that the service to humanity is a service that is have a lasting reward. My prayer is that God Almighty will continue to reward you for what you are doing in the name of Jesus Christ. I want to appreciate you for the privilege of having me, of joining this global conference. Just to add to what other person have been saying, when we talk about leadership, talk about relationship, understand that everything rise and fall in leadership. Everything. I want us to understand the law of legacy when it comes briefly in adding to what others have said thus far in this conference. You know, as a leader, it's important for you to understand that leaders' lasting value is measured by succession. As a leader,
Sorry, please bear with us. I think it's the connection. We can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself, please? I think he's
He doesn't realize that he's muted. I think
yes.
He doesn't realize he's muted. He has muted himself.
Okay, okay. All right. Yes. Thank you, Professor Karudin. Yes, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he's back. He's back.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. Yes, as I was saying, I say leadership rise and fall in everything that we do, whether in relationship, in other walks of life, in academic, everything rise and fall in leadership. So if we get it right in leadership, we'll get it right in relationship. So when we talk about relationship, I think it's not out of place when we look at leadership in a legacy format, looking at the law of legacy as it relates to leadership. Now, a leader's value is measured by succession. Now, somebody said that, what do you want people to say at your funeral? Even as a leader, what do you want people to say at your funeral? That may seem like an old question. I think it's important to measure such, but it may be the most important thing that you as a leader can ask yourself, because most people never consider it to be important. Recently in River State, a popular leader in the business circle died in the country, and there was a commendation service. So many persons came trying to, pay tribute to him, and they were recounting his impact in the business circle. So I was compared to, to begin to draw a map on this concept of legacy that informed my brief discussion. So what's today, thank God for years to come. I know people definitely will have one or two things to remark someday. So that is what, as a leader, when you are no longer in that office, because one thing I want us to understand, like Professor Akpati was saying, politician, that seat is not your bedroom. It's not going to last forever. Whether you like it or not, it's just for a tenure. It's just for a tenure. After 4 years, if God help you, 8 years, you are out of that place. So what will you be remembered for? Because a time will come whereby nobody knows your name anymore. A time will come where nobody will ever remember or have your picture in their house anymore. So I want you to understand that it's very important that whatever you are doing in life, you must begin to look at the bigger picture. You begin to look at tomorrow. You begin to consider people around. Is very, very important. If that is not your goal, you're going to have a problem tomorrow. So it's important that you look at it critically, that tomorrow is big. So, yeah, so you must work on it. You must measure your succession as you walk in the journey of leadership, because that will help you to incorporate and relate with people positively or either negatively. So your relationship in leadership determine what you consider and at what your position is. So many persons are carried away by position, and so therefore they think that that position will last forever, not knowing that the time will come whereby another will take your place. Whether it's not a prayer, neither is it a call, but definitely a time comes that somebody takes your place, and we begin to look at what you have ever done. We had in this country, also Nigeria, a governor who just left a seat and worked hardly to install a successor, and immediately, not up to a year, and before you know it, and he has started digging the past of his predecessor. So wherever you are, you must look at tomorrow, so that when you leave, he's not the only one. But today you see people in all the social media, and there is a caricature of him trying to, depict him as somebody who is running away from being caught by the Economic Crime Commission in Nigeria, that we call it EFCC. So he never knew that today will come, tomorrow has gone. We are not in today. So whatever you are doing as a leader, think about tomorrow. Think about tomorrow, because yesterday is gone. You are in today. So whatever you do yesterday determine how you will be related with today. Your relationship continue in life. On the virtue of your action today. So please, as a leader, I want us to take note of this, because our life is measured by the legacy that we leave. So we try as much as possible to leave our print in the foot of time, in wherever we are, in whatever we are doing. Important. Know that the legacy you want to leave for your children, very, very important. So while you are working in leadership, so you must try as much as possible to work on what legacy am I going to leave for my children and for people under me. Most people simply accept their lives and they don't live, as if there's tomorrow. They believe that they are leading individual. No leadership anywhere, wherever, whether you are the owner of that organization, it does not. So when you have that, that relationship with people definitely change. Your leader change. So very, very important. So develop yourself to leave a legacy for tomorrow. So leave the legacy you want to leave. You must live the legacy you want to live, the life you want to live. That is the life you have to live. So while you are leading, live the life you want to live for others to follow. So I believe that to have any credibility as a leader, you must live what you say and live what you believe. So take note, very, very important. Live what you say and live what you believe. So important. Choose who will carry on your legacy. As a leader, you must choose who will carry on your legacy. As a matter of fact, if you are leading and you don't have a prospect of succession, you might not have been a good leader. So know that this leadership, this seat you are occupying is what is temporal. And as a matter of fact, while doing that, you must live to what? To choose who will carry on this legacy. That determines your relationship. That determines who you are relating with. That determines who you are communicating with. You know, in communication, determine your value for order. Very, very important. So also, I want to quickly also let us know that we must make sure as a leader that you pass on the baton. Why you must understand and must live to pass on the baton. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. The reason today you see we have problem in our political terrain or with our political ally, they don't want to live, they don't want to pass on the baton. Even when they succeeded in leaving the office, they still want to be in control. So they want to be, if they have served for like 8 years, second tenure, they want to have their third tenure in another, not passing the baton, whether in the spiritual or in the physical. That is why when they are successful, trying to make an amendment or trying to bring a policy that will take the state forward, they try to fight. So they never leave to work that, they let me leave a legacy that will be said of me tomorrow. So that is the reason why we are having so many fights in leadership, mostly in the political market today. Then in Nigeria, I'm using Nigeria as a case study. I'm using Nigeria because these are practical incidents. And so I decided to, look at what is happening today. There's a leader that actually have a legacy in view, your relationship with
Professor Osage, can you round up for us, please? Professor Osage, can you round up for us?
To round up,
yes.
I want you to understand, what do you want your legacy to be is matter of question as a leader. Very, very important, based on your ideas, and you develop concerning that legacy. And also in who you invest in matters a lot when it comes to legacy as a leader. So thank you very much for listening, and God bless you for having me here today. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Professor Osage. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Absolutely
Professor
amazing.
Osage.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
I think let's call our next speaker. We also have someone who truly put high dedication, because I know it's early morning in there. Let's call our Ambassador Jenny Rapstad from USA. Welcome, Madam Jenny. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome and for acknowledging the fact that I got up at 2:30 in the morning to be here. So thank you. For the next 4 minutes, I'm going to discuss how successful business people deal with difficult people they encounter on the job. So if you are dealing with a vexing colleague, this may be a transformational moment in your career. First of all, no one likes dealing with difficult people. Perhaps we may think that the easiest course of action is to simply avoid the irritating coworker. That's a nice thought, but in actuality, it may not be realistic. Learning to effectively interact with annoying people is just part of life. Successful people learn the art of handling problematic personalities. And I have a few tips that may be of use to you. First of all, do a little self-reflection and determine if your responses to the difficult person are appropriate. Or on the flip side, is your disdain for this person adding to the problem? If your response is, no, Jeannie, nothing is ever my fault, then probably my tips won't be of any use to you. But if your response is, yes, I could probably benefit from a new and transformational mindset approach to interacting with that person, then I have some suggestions that you may want to consider. Secondly, one of the most effective actions you can take is to simply let it go. You don't have to overreact to everything that the person does. Quiet your mind and focus more on listening than reacting to the person. Thirdly, be civil. Some people have already mentioned that this morning. A little courtesy can go a long way in diffusing a tense situation. Even a small gesture of kindness can help ease tensions and forge goodwill. Fourthly, pick your battles. You do not have to charge up every hill. Sometimes it's just wiser to sidestep hot button issues. If possible, table difficult conversations for times when cooler heads will prevail. Fifthly, use your poker face when necessary. It's not in your best interest to show your emotions on your face. Be stoic, be wise. Sixth, learn to manage your emotions. It does not benefit you to allow someone else to push your buttons and cause reactions in your behavior that you may regret later. Seventh, find ways to put a positive spin on an unpleasant situation. Perhaps there is a way to reframe your mindset about the person and the problem that will help you feel less provoked. Eighth, instead of avoiding a person, look for ways to find common ground. Understanding the person may help you develop empathy and compassion for them. Ninth, you don't have to like every one of your coworkers. True leadership lies in getting the best performance out of your employees, whether you like them or not, or whether or not they like you. 10th, and in conclusion, as I mentioned at the beginning of my talk, do some honest self-reflection. Is there something in your own past experience that may unfairly influence how you see someone? It is very important to be aware of your own biases or preconceived notions. Recognizing that you may share some of the blame could be the first step toward transforming the problematic relationship. I've really enjoyed sharing with you this morning, and I would like to thank Dr. Queen Elizabeth Lucas for the kind invitation to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Jenny Rapstar from USA. Firstly, I want to say, despite the fact that it's so early in the morning, you're still looking bright and shining with your lovely coat and your heart. So I really appreciate you for dressing up for this occasion. I want to believe I'm not the only one that noticed that.
She's always beautiful with the hat.
It's a corporate. We call corporate dressing. That is really a corporate dressing. So I think apart from you presenting, your presence and your appearance also speak louder. And we all need to knock your door and learn how to dress corporately with the right cap to put on. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I said we should just laugh a little bit so that we are not tense with this conference. We should relax more. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you. So